You either watch yourself burn, living a life filled with passion, or you become dust. So you become ash or you become dust. You become ash or you return to dust at the end of your life. Ash or dust, dust or ash. All bodies would return to dust, but not everyone would be ash. So dust or ash, eventually you'd have to pick one. And I mean, eventually you would have to pick one. You would either leave this world being ash while your body returns to dust, or both your life, your soul, and your body returns to dust. You don't get to float somewhere in the middle forever. You don't get to live your life and call it a life, because the world doesn't negotiate, time doesn't negotiate, and at the end of it all, what remains of you would either be dust or it would be ash. And I mean by what you did with what was given to you here on earth, what you burned through and what you buried. Now, you know that popular saying that the place filled with the most gifts and talents is the graveyard. Now, that's everyone who died and returned to dust, everyone who never burned, everyone who carried something extraordinary inside them and walked the entire length of their life without ever letting it out, without ever exhibiting those gifts that never really became anything, talents that never saw the light, callings that they had on their lives that they let fear and comfort and just trying to get by life without wanting to do anything extraordinary. They returned to dust with their hands full, and they returned full. Now, the simple defining line for this between dust and ash is the souls of everyone who has maximized their purpose in life or who are currently maximizing their purpose, who gave everything that they had in them. They came to this world with nothing but a purpose, and they gave it all. They emptied every gift and treasure within them, every last drop. They didn't save anything for a safer reason or for the fear of failure. They didn't wait until maybe conditions were perfect. They burned. Set yourself on fire and the world will come to watch you burn. You have to live a purposeful life. You have to live a life that would determine if at the end of this world what's left of you is ash because you have burned everything, or you just return to dust. Ash or dust, dust or ash. Eventually you would have to pick one. Now, I do not want to return my soul filled with regrets. I do not want to return my soul filled with everything I was given. I do not want to be that person who has lived a life of regrets. I think it's funny that on the verge of death, because most people who, when they've probably gotten to a stage where they feel like they're about to die, what most people think about is not the things they did, but the things they didn't do, the things they didn't say, the businesses they did not start, the persons they did not love fully, the areas in their life where they weren't fully present, the things they wish they had done better for themselves. That version of themselves that they kept postponing. It's always the things that they did not do, always. And I think about that a lot. I think that version of me that plays it out safe and dies with a chest full of everything he was supposed to pour out, I feel like that terrifies me more than failure ever could. I mean, if you were told that you have just a week to live, we realize that we suddenly find the drive and purpose to live out our lives. The particular life that we have told ourselves that we cannot do, suddenly the excuses would not count for anything. That fear that you had would suddenly begin to shrink, and you would remember what actually matters to you. And what does that tell us? Or what does that tell you? Rather, what does that tell me? It's that life is already there. The want is already there. The only thing standing between us and burning is the illusion that we have more time than we do. We do not have time here. Time is all we have. And I want to set myself on fire. I want to burn it all into the world, into my family and friends, into God's calling for my life, into that which I desire within and of myself. Now, the description of this podcast is a famous quote I love. You came into this world with nothing, so why go through it like you have something to lose? Why go through it like you have something to lose? What exactly is it that you are protecting? What is so precious to you that you would rather guard it in the dark than risk it in the light? Because whatever it is costing you the fire, it is costing you the burn, and you cannot get that time back. I get God restores time, but you still have to live purposefully, because there would be nothing to restore if a heart or if a structure or if a person who is willing to put in the work isn't present. So the only reason why you can get years of your life that you've lost back is because you're still pushing, you're still in the business. So don't hold back, don't be scared of feeling that you hide yourself in the dark and you get eaten by even worse demons. Because the demons in the dark, they'll be very patient with you. They won't rush you, they won't wait while you shrink. They wait while you convince yourself that, okay, now is not the time, I'm still comfortable here, we'll do this later. But you can't afford to live a life that way. Now, my body can return to dust, but my soul should be ash. The life I have lived should be written about in ashes at the end of my life. Your life should be ash. You should have burned it all, every single thing, everything. Leave nothing untouched. Don't even have burned stuff and like maybe it's charcoal format or whatnot. Burn everything. You have to become ash. Not burned in some areas and carefully preserved in others. It's all of it. Every corner of what it is that you have been given, every gift you have been given by God, every idea, every calling, every relationship, every moment of courage that you could have exhibited or expressed, burn it all the way through. Years ago, I learned that abundant life isn't long life. Because someone can die at 30 and live an abundant life. Someone can die at 70 and he hasn't lived an abundant life. So abundant life is you maximizing the act of living. That's you living to the fullest. You can live a short life that is entirely ash, and a long life that is entirely dust. So the point isn't really the length. The point is how you maximized the essence within you while you were here on earth.
It's a scary place to be when everyone around you is telling you how good you're doing, and then when you are alone by yourself at night, you look in the mirror and you don't feel like you're doing anything.
And I know that a lot of us are trying. I do not see my own acts too sometimes. It's difficult sometimes. It's really painful sometimes because you might be doing a lot, but it's not enough for you. There's sometimes where you would look at the mirror and you don't really like or recognize what you see. There's sometimes where life will feel like you have no purpose, no progress, nothing is working out for you. And I think even the most painful part of this is you can't find the drive to keep pushing. I mean, you know you have so much to do, there is so much you want to do, but you can't just find a way to drag yourself out and do these things. And it's also because sometimes you're terrified of where you are right now. And I know it's a terrifying place to be. And I think that what makes it terrifying is that you can see the life that you want. It's not invincible to you. You know what burning looks like. You know what it would feel to wake up and be fully in it. And yet there is this gap, this space between knowing and doing, between wanting and becoming. You are standing in that gap and it feels like it's swallowing you. And I know that place. I have stood there. I was talking to my friend some days ago and I was telling him that the reason why we panic a lot of times is that we live our lives as opportunists. Because I saw that all our W's financially and progressively were occasional. We didn't really work with systems or structures, so that success that we've had in on rare occasions isn't really replicable. Our endeavors aren't repeatable. So when the occasional win comes, it feels like proof if that, okay, we're doing something, it feels good. But then it fades and we're back to waiting for the next lucky break, the next open door, the next thing that falls into place. And you cannot build a fire that way. You cannot sustain a burn on luck and timing alone. And if we really want to burn, we can do two things. We either live spontaneously and always create a pattern and system that ensures our fire never goes out. Because spontaneity without structure is just chaos. And structure without spontaneity is just routine. So you need both. You need how to be in the wilderness and still have an architecture even in the wilderness. That's the fire and the fuel system that keeps feeding it. And how we get out of this is we surround ourselves with people that see life the way we do. people that are made of the same flavor, the same drive, the same goal. You cannot burn alone for long. You need people around you who understand what it means to be fire, who don't ask you to dim yourself for their comfort, or who would want to push you further into your own flame. If you cannot like directly surround yourself with people you want to have that energy around, then you can surround yourself with their philosophy, their books, their life experiences, thought process. You can watch videos of them talking about what they did and what they did not know. You feed on the particular diet you need for life, and it's how you stay healthy and focused with life. So an example is a man who lacks the ability of emotional regulation should feed on processes and people that teaches him to emotionally regulate. A man who lacks discipline should feed on the minds of those who live a very disciplined life. You become what you consistently consume. So if you want to be fire, you have to consume fire, you have to consume purpose, you have to consume the lives and the words of people who have burned or who are currently burning. And ultimately, you would live wild and free and fierce and fiery, and accept that sometimes you won't always recognize who you are in the mirror. To be honest, it's very terrifying, because I have been there. I sometimes experience that, and it's painful, because you know what you've done before, you know your drive, you know how far you can go, you know how good you are at certain things. And you might do all these things and people are telling you that you're doing good, you're doing great, but you look at yourself in the mirror and you can't just see it. So there will always be seasons where you are in between versions of yourself, where the old you has burned away and the new you hasn't fully formed yet. I spoke about this in, I think, the second episode I dropped, that is Growth, Dread It or Embrace It. Now that place in between can feel like loss, but we will burn regardless. Eventually, just dust it off and keep moving. Revenge yourself as many times as it takes. Start over with every chance you get. The world is so big and we're so small. We can just do things. We find our place in it and we burn for God. We burn for ourselves. We burn for the world. We do everything God wants us to do. And we live purposefully. We live with a drive. We're not aimless. And then we find a new place and we burn it there too, and again and again and again, and as many times as life demands it. So you do not get one fire and coast. You keep lighting it. You keep choosing ash over dust every single time the choice presents itself. Because at the end of my life, I want to return to a grave where my body returns to dust, but there's nothing left of my life, because my essence has all been given as ash. It's all been transformed into ash. It has all burned to ash. I want to have burned through every single thing I was given. Every gift emptied, every calling answered, everything that every role I was meant to play. I want to arrive at the end with nothing left to give, because I have given it all. I didn't save a version of any life that never came. I gave it all. Ash to ash, dust to dust. Alright, thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.